Hey everybody, Josh from SILCA here, answering more of your awesome questions about chain waxing and chain maintenance, and yeah, all things chain and wax and lubricant related. Today's episode, we are talking about quick links. You know, a lot of questions about these little guys, and I think the quick link and some of the lore out there around them are one of the barriers to people, you know, embracing waxing, or at least embracing hot melt waxing. So let's talk specifically about the quick link. What is it? Why do we have it? Those of you who grew up in the old times, like I did, we didn't used to have quick links. We had to use the little rivet tool to both push the pin out and to push it back in and kind of re-rivet the link together. And sometimes it would be too stiff, or you would tweak it or bend it a little bit, and then inevitably you would break your chain. I mean, there was a real skill to it, and you had to have a very specific tool that you not only knew how to use, but kept in good shape, replacing the pin, the little push pin every so often. I'm not going to lie, pain in the ass. I'm glad those days are done. You know, the quick link really saved us from that, and today if you've got a chain tool, it's probably on a multi-tool. You're only using it to just pop the thing out, and then you're going in with the quick link to get the chain back together. So much safer, so much easier. Okay, on to your questions. Do you need to clean the quick link? This is one of the biggest ones we get, and the answer is if you are using Shimano, YBN, or Connex, where the chains are packed, or the quick link is packaged separately in a little crack baggie like this, you don't have to do anything. You just keep it like this, clean and dry, wax your chain, and then assemble it into the wax chain. If you're using SRAM, those are packed in with the grease chain. They have grease on them, and you will need to degrease that quick link somehow. You can do you know, chain stripper will work, a lot of common degreasers will work. It's a much easier component to clean than the chain itself, because you're not having to get stuff out from deep inside the chain. It's all external surface as it comes here. So I mean, even a good soap and water and a little toothbrush or something to scrub it will probably get that cleaned off. Ideal case, you want this thing totally clean, totally dry, no grease, no contaminants on it when you go to rivet the chain. Which brings us to question 2. Do you wax the quick link? You know, we've gone back and forth on this. I've had this discussion with, you know, Adam Karen and a lot of other, you know, well-known chain waxers out there. I have come to the opinion, and I'm just going to say it as gospel here, you don't wax the quick link. And the reasons are these. I've got my trusty little microscope here so we can show you in a second, but all of the mating surfaces that quick link is going to touch once it's assembled are covered in wax. In fact, they're covered with too much wax, and as you go to reassemble it, you're going to have to kind of squish some of that wax out of the way. The resulting assembly, everything that is metal-to-metal contact is covered and separated by wax, even when the quick link is unwaxed. Why is that? Well, let's look here under our trusty little Dynoscope microscope and give you kind of an idea of, you know, what's going on here. So let me hop in, let me hit record on my screen here. What you can see here, really, these are the two ends, the free ends of the chain where the quick link is going to go, and you see that there is a really healthy wax coating on the surface there, and also fully through the bore, so that when we go to take our quick link, kind of load it up here, our quick link pin, we're actually going to have to press it through and extrude out, kind of push it through, and then we'll flip it to look at it here. It has had to push through and extrude out this little plug of wax that you're seeing there, and then it is pushed through. Look at that. You can see it is fully surrounded by wax. And if I kind of go at it with my fingernail, see how you can see the wax on the surface there. One of the things you see as I flip this up, because the wax on the surface here is a little bit thicker than it should be, what you see is the groove in the pin. Let me try to refocus this a little bit. There we go. Groove in the pin actually isn't fully exposed. Like, I need to push this through a little bit further to catch the groove with the quick link on the other side. And this brings us to why we don't recommend waxing the quick link. You have an abundance of wax on the surface of the inner plate itself, and you're actually having to squish some of that out and displace it so that the pin can go far enough through to catch on the other side. If you have a similar thickness of wax on the quick link itself, it's just twice as much wax that you have to push out of the way to get that groove exposed. And from my experience, and certainly from what we hear from a lot of our consumers and even bike shops out there, if you break a quick link or damage a quick link, this is how it's going to happen. You've got too much thickness there, you can't get enough of the wax squeezed out, and then when you go to slide the link together, it can't quite catch and it ends up mangling. So let me flip this over here and let's look at, so this is what the inside, this is what the inside, the inner groove that you're trying to catch looks like. So you've got this groove here in the pin, and that groove there is trying to catch this thin little piece of metal right in there. And so let's flip them together and see if I can get this. It's always easier said than done on these microscope shots. So I'm going to get that in there, and you see we're trying to catch that little groove. It is well under 1 millimeter wide where we're trying to catch it. And if that's not fully exposed and things get a little bit crooked or a little bit wonky, that little inner bit of metal there, that can get kind of twisted or bent or damaged. And you can see there's just ever so slightly a little bit of a step. And that's when you snap it together, it pops over that little step, and that's actually what keeps it from being able to come apart easily. When you go to pop it open, you're having to jump back over that little step there. Yeah, to keep it secure. So for my money, you don't want to wax the quick link. You want to make sure you get the wax off of that surface there on both sides. And the most important thing is making sure that you can see that groove exposed when you are going to snap the quick link together, so that you make sure on both sides you are catching that little stepped piece of metal in the groove in the pin. And then I would say too, you just need the practice of doing this a number of times to get a feel for what it should feel like. Because I will tell you from experience of having done it wrong or having missed it and twisted it, it feels wrong when it happens. It's a little bit like when you strip the threads off of a screw around the head of a bolt. It feels funny, and in that moment, instantly something is wrong. In that moment, accept it, undo it, pop it off, and get yourself a new one, because this is a dangerous one. It's a real safety issue here if you get it wrong, because this thing is most likely to come undone under peak torque, which is also the time when you're most likely to get hurt from it failing. Don't wax the quick link. Know full well that there's enough wax in there to be low friction and to prevent wear when you are waxing just the chain. If you are worried about it, get yourself some drip wax, some of our Super Secret. I don't know, I thought I had a bottle around here. Get yourself a bottle of Super Secret and go ahead and put a drop of Super Secret on either side of the quick link. Rub it in. That'll ensure any gaps, which there almost certainly won't be, but any gaps that could possibly be there will be filled with the Super Secret. And yeah, you're good to go. Question 3. How many times can I reuse my quick link? Well, officially, all of the manufacturers say 1. And I know why they say that. They say that because, they want you to buy more quick links, but also from their perspective, that is like the most defensible position. They're least likely to get sued. In my experience, I personally use mine up to 5-6 times. You can feel a difference in them. They will start to get a little softer in their kind of like when they click back. You'll feel that when you have done it 4, 5, 6 times. And I think if you go to click it in and it feels soft, that's your signal that it's time to get onto a new one. There are some out there that are multi-use. The Connex one, which has kind of a little bit of a twist action to get it both installed and removed. Those are reusable multiple times. And YBN out of Taiwan, who make chain for a lot of the large manufacturers. They have just released a quick link that they say can be used 5 times. So I'm talking with them right now. We're going to try to get some into the SILCA store so you can buy them if you want. But yeah, so use at your own risk and discretion. But for my money, 5-6 times is probably a good number. Officially, you're only supposed to do it once. So I'll leave it right there and say no more. Use your best judgment. And that's it. I think we've covered everything for quick links. Oh, yeah, last one. Thanks for reminding me. Can a quick link be used on multiple chains? I wouldn't do it. There are people who say, oh, I was using the quick link a couple of times. I put it on this chain, and then something happened to the chain, and I want to switch it. I need a new chain. Can I move the quick link? Don't risk that. These parts do ultimately kind of wear together, mate together. If your chain is wearing out or something bad has happened to it, there's maybe some risk that something's happened to the quick link. So, that is definitely a time, even if it's only been used one time before, get it out of there and stop using it. Oh, and then one more. Direction. These things are, and let's go under a microscope again, you can see they are directional. That is important. The SRAM flat top ones are, I think, pretty easy to not put on upside down. The Shimano ones have a nice arrow. The arrow goes in the direction that the chain is moving around the drivetrain. So if you're putting it on at the bottom, the arrow should be pointing left. If you're putting it on at the top, the arrow should be pointing to the right. So be careful of direction. And also remember, your chain, in most cases, is directional. So make sure that you've got the chain on in the right direction as well as the quick link in the right direction. Do all those things and you're going to be good to go. So again, questions, comments, please leave them below. We love answering questions that you guys have. And please hit that like and subscribe button. Share these videos with your friends. Hopefully we can all make each other a little bit smarter and more knowledgeable on these topics. So thanks again for watching. Have a great one.